In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your exterior door weather stripping. It's really easy, but you might not know where to start. So we're going to do it right now. So let's go over what, why, and how. What is your exterior door weather stripping? Well, if you take a close look, it's this right here. This creates a seal against your door. It gets attached to the frame, and this prevents bugs, water, moisture, air, everything that you could imagine from the outside from coming into your house. And this one is not so bad. I've seen worse. This can dry up and crack down here. Thing is that it's short. I replaced this threshold right here. So this is a little shorter as well because mice were chewing at this and created a hole. So the why for replacing this is just what I said: weather, bugs, and in my case, mice. From the inside looking out, you can see daylight. So while this isn't the worst that I've seen, it is bad and it does need to be replaced. And down on the bottom here, before I get to the how to replace it, you can see the mice not only got through there, but they also made a big hole in my seal on the bottom. So I'm gonna replace this first, and then I'll show you how to replace the weather stripping. If you need to replace your bottom door seal like I do, I did make a dedicated video for that showing all of the different options. So I'll leave a link in the description over to that video. But to replace this one is pretty easy. And all you have to do is remove the door. Remove the old seal, cut the new one to length, give this a little trim, install the new sweep, and reinstall the door. So even just doing that fixed the majority of the problem on the bottom. If you look up here, you can still see daylight. And this isn't such a big deal because this is a door for a garage, but the door to your house, this is going to be the same process. Before you remove your old weather stripping, just take some measurements, figure out which type you want to use. You can use whatever you want. This style, this door is 30 years old and they still use this today. This is a Q-lawn type. I just learned that name actually, but it's also sometimes called a kerf style because if you pull this out, you can see it has a channel right here or a kerf and a flange that's attached to the weather stripping that goes into that channel to hold it in place. And you can use this, or as I said, they have a ton of different types that you can just take this off and then you can seal against here with like a foam or a vinyl. Self-adhesive, if you want to nail it. They have metal pieces with foam on it. You could use that. But I just got the same exact type, so I can take all this off. Just take note at how this is installed. For instance, this piece went on first and then this goes up to it. Not a huge deal if you switch that around, but I'm just gonna put it back the same way because why not? So to take it out, just like I showed you, take some needle nose pliers and pull it out, get it started, and then you can just pull it right out of there. There's some nails in it right here. They must have put in afterwards. This weather stripping may have popped out at some point. That might be why they put nails in it, but we don't need them anymore, so I'm just gonna sink them in. Obviously we have some rot starting down here. That's okay, just trying to save this door. Now you can go along and just make sure this is all cleaned out all the way around. If you want to, you can spray it with some cleaner. Might be a good time to do that. I think I'm just gonna wipe it like this. Make sure I have a clear path in here. So I got a 40-foot roll of this. You can probably get strips. So if you take a look closely, you can see it's a little different. This goes all the way around, and then this just kind of has a V right there, but that's going to work. You just want to make sure that that flange is the same. This is about 3/8 of an inch. So you just want to make sure that whatever you get isn't going to be too long and it won't go in all the way, but this one is going to be perfect. And just as a note, when you took it out, just put it back in the same way. So you could do this a couple of different ways. You can take a measurement and then measure your new weather stripping, or you could line it up just like this. Make sure that end is the same. And this, like this. And you can make a mark, or you can just grab some scissors, which is what you can cut this with, and cut it to the same exact length as the old piece. So I'll just make a mark with my scissors. And kind of flatten it out. And cut it all the way through. And we can install that piece. Make sure this is going in the right way. So the wrong way would be like this, where the V would be open, facing down. The right way is like this. So all you should have to do is hold it tight to the edge and then push it into place. Just straighten it as you go. And I'm just going to pull it down this way to the end. Squeeze the rest in place. Now you should be good with just doing that, but if you have a piece that is kind of stubborn, you can fold it down like this and take a little block and just give it a little tap carefully. Slide it down, give it a little tap. But we're good. Now with the sides, I'm going to do them a little differently. I'm going to take the roll and not cut it yet. I'm going to start at the bottom and feed this in the channel and down at the same time to try and cover that gap. Kind of like that. And then I'll work my way all the way up. Just untwisting it, fishing it in there. And when I get close to the top, I'm just going to kind of fold it up like this. And then I can take my scissors, cut it right at that point. Like that. And if it's a little long, I can trim it. Like that. Kind of at an angle. There we go, until it fits in. And then I just go all the way down and make sure this went in all the way. This spot right here, I missed. That's why I'm double checking. Now on this side, this is actually telling me to start at the top, but what I'll do is I'll leave it long like this and then bring it all the way down. And since I have plenty, I'll just cut it long down here. Make a nice straight cut. And then I can start from the bottom and do the same thing. There we go. And then work my way up. And cut this at the top. Always cut it long and trim it. Nice. Okay, sure it's good all the way down. Now I'm going to install these bottom door corner seals. They have a sticky back, they're self-adhesive, and they go on just like this. So on the bottom, on each side, you want to sneak them behind the weather stripping before I stick them on there. I'll just show you. And this way it adds a little bit of foam and a little more protection right here. And right here, you could cut this foam so that it sticks out a little more, but I'm going to show you with the last step what to do there. So on each side, I'm just going to peel this off right here. And I know that this isn't the cleanest, but that's okay. You might want to clean it, make sure it sticks. Go all the way down and all the way back, stick it into place. Do the same thing on the other side. So I closed the door a couple times to test this out, and it turns out that the door is so tight that it's just gonna destroy this side. That's okay. I have one more step that I'm gonna do here. The alternative to this is to try and fix the door, put a couple screws in the hinges and pull it over that way. But then that might mess up how it seals against the weather stripping. So on this side, I'm just gonna take this out and cut it. And this way, at least, this will still make a nice seal right here. And every door is different. This one is 30 plus years old, and it's not really gonna be worth it to try and make it perfect. We just wanna seal this door up. Once all your weather stripping is installed, you're gonna wanna shut the door, look around on the outside, make sure it's all touching and it's compressing like that. And from the inside, make sure you can't see daylight. And if your door is a little loose on this side, there is something you can do, hopefully. This is adjustable. Yours might be the kind that has this little tab on the inside that you take a screwdriver and you can pry this piece of metal that way. This one is a little different. So if you want to get the latch tighter, you can loosen this just a little bit. And then this piece right here, just give it a little tap, and that'll move in, and you can retighten it. And that will bring your door closer to the weather stripping and create a tighter seal. You're just gonna have to be careful, make sure your deadbolt is still gonna latch after you did that. You might have to adjust that striker for the deadbolt. Let's check that. It compresses the weather stripping, and I can still lock my deadbolt. So I'm good. One last final important step on the bottom here to prevent water and everything else. I'm gonna run a bead of clear silicone all along the bottom here. I'm gonna run it back here too because I replaced the threshold. Yours might be worn out, so you might wanna redo yours. And only thing you wanna be careful of is this right here is probably gonna touch some of the silicone, so you might have to leave the door open for a while. And you can't paint silicone. So if you're thinking of painting, say the jam, you just won't be able to paint over that silicone. Nice thin bead, silicone of your choice. You can put this on as thick as you want, but I'm gonna do a thin one. Again, this is a garage, so I'm not as concerned with it. Right here, however, I will bring it up a little bit because this is starting to rot out. Go up over here. Just like that. Clean it up a little bit. I think that's pretty good. I'll fill this gap in right here, this crack in the trim and the jam. I'll fill that in with latex caulking so I can paint it. But that looks pretty good to me. Moving on to the other side. I got a nice big hole here. I'll fill in. To be honest with you, I probably wouldn't even do this if I wasn't making a video because it is a garage and I have no water issues here. But this is definitely what I would do if this is like a door coming into your house. Okay, so now my door is all sealed up from the weather, from bugs, from mice. And if you had to do the same thing, I hope this video helps. Like I said, real easy, but if you didn't know where to start, there you go. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.